to conquer depression. Yeah, exactly. And then another thing is people think that depression like just goes away, and it never goes away. You only ever learn how to coexist with depression, but it's never going to go away. Like the things that I experienced are never going to, and that's where a lot of my depression stems from. The things that I was subjected to as a little girl, whether it be like specifically the abuse that I was subjected to as a little girl. That shit is never gonna go away. I was talking to my mom. It was a point in time, it was so bad. I was talking to my mom and I was wanting to get I think it's called shock therapy. And it's literally like this procedure where they shock your brain to forget certain traumatic experiences. But the flip side of that, you could forget precious ass memories like your grandma's funeral or some shit like that. Like, it's crazy wild shit for sure. But I said all that to say it got that bad, for real. Depression does not go away. Depression comes from trauma. Trauma doesn't go away. Exactly. We learn coping mechanisms such as acceptance. Exactly. It gets, but like, how did you learn not to blame yourself? I'm definitely still learning that. It depends on specifically like what we're talking about. Once I started, but this is what I will say. Once I started to understand how the world is and how people can be, then I started being a little less, what's the word that I'm looking for? I started blaming myself a little less. Does that make sense? Once I understood that the world can be evil sometimes and that people will take advantage of you if you allow them to. If you don't set your own personal boundaries, then people will moonwalk back and forth all over you. Once I learned that, then I was able to forgive myself because I didn't realize that I needed to set those boundaries. And once I realized, oh, well, I just need to set boundaries for myself and be strict about those boundaries, that would help eliminate a lot of the problems that I was having me personally. Healing to Leo as well. Teach the best way to learn. Exactly. Because some of the stuff, this is stuff that I think about in my mind, but I don't all the time say out loud. So it's like when I say it out loud, I'm saying it for y'all to hear, but I'm also saying it for me to hear. Anxiety is not one. Depression is a spirit. You have to fight it in the spirit as well. I like breaks my heart when people abuse gets looked over. Yeah, when I was growing up, right? And this is the thing. This is another thing, y'all. This is another thing that I have to learn. That I had to learn. This is another thing that I had to learn. This is another thing that I had to learn. Hear me when I say this. Hear me when I say this. Because this, hear me when I say this. When I had, definitely my abuse would be overlooked. Whether it wasn't noticed or whether it was involuntary or whether it was just always overlooked. Once I started telling my story and telling my experiences, it was new to a lot of the people that were around me because I was very private and secretive about a lot of the things that I would experience. The problem with that is you have people around you who are closed-minded. You have people around you who are ignorant, and they will try to invalidate they would try to invalidate your experiences because they weren't there to witness them firsthand. And that was very painful for me. It was very painful for me to deal with because it was already a very sensitive subject for me to speak on in general. I did not tell my mom about whatever should I talk about this? Fuck it. Fuck it. I did not tell my mom about whatever sexual abuse I was dealing with while we were living. I did not tell my mom about that until I turned, until I turned 18. So until I had graduated high school, I had not told my mom what had happened. And it was important, partially because, okay, so let me say this. Imagine, right? And this is what I want y'all to understand. This is what I want y'all to understand. Say that again. I didn't tell my mom about my issues until I was 23. Say that again. Just because you don't speak on something that happens immediately doesn't mean that that your feelings toward the situation aren't valid. I feel like some people try to criticize you, or they try to chastise you, and they say, well, why would you wait? I remember whenever the Me Too movement was going on, I was younger, but I was feeling for those ladies. I was feeling for those women because I could understand and relate, and I had not told anybody about my experiences. And I remember thinking, damn, because everybody kept saying, well, why wait now? Or why wait? Why would you wait till right now? But sometimes you have to hear other people talk about their experiences for you to know and understand and realize that it's okay for you to share your experiences as well. Does that make sense? Because for the longest, I didn't think that it was something that I should have been talking about. And really, still to this day, there are a lot of people who would tell you, well, you shouldn't be talking about shit like that. Or don't you think certain shit should be kept private? That's the one right there. Especially when, like, you are an artist, or especially when, like, you just have a following on social media. People love to tell you, don't you think people be in the comments, certain shit you should just not speak about. Certain shit you should just not speak about. Why? Why should I have to bottle that? Why do I have to bottle it up to make it more comfortable for you? I'm sorry. This ain't even that. And this is another thing. Literally, hearing someone I knew victim blame me made me want to hide my story and not speak on it because it triggered the fuck out of me. Literally the same experiences for me. And I was like, damn, should I have said something sooner? Because it's not like I was saying anything because I wanted that person to be dealt with, or I wanted that person to go to jail or anything like that. It wasn't that. I just wanted to free myself of that bondage. And I felt like I had never talked about it. I had never spoken on it. And so I wanted to talk about those experiences. I wanted to get it off of my chest and out of my mind because it was literally crippling me. Oh my God, it was crippling me. And this might be TMI, but this is true shit though. This is true shit. That type of shit will literally trickle into your adult life. For example, you might be one of those girls who never want to have sexual relations with the lights on. Like, you don't want anybody to see you, or you don't feel comfortable fully undressing because someone took advantage of you when you were a little girl. Does that make it? And this is a trigger warning, so I should have been said that. This is a trigger warning. Does that make sense? So it's like you don't even realize why you behave the way that you behave because you never properly identified, you never properly called out whatever the traumatic experiences were. You never properly dealt with that trauma. And so now it bleeds into your adult life. Me will bleed into my adult life, and I'm just like, why do I still behave? Why do I do the things that I do? Or why am I so overprotective of myself? Like, why do I, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense, y'all? I'm not a therapist, so I don't know how to word it. Like, I don't know how to put it, you know, in a way that's able to be digested. I'm just speaking from my heart and my mind, my true experiences. That's where I'm speaking from. things like that have to be addressed. Things like that have to be addressed, or they will come out in the worst ways when you become an adult. And also, girls and guys, because guys are abused as well. I don't know why people act like guys can't be taken advantage of sexually. Like, it happens to everyone. Another thing that I had to realize, and another thing that I want y'all to understand and be okay with, sometimes when you tell your story, people might not give a fuck. And that's the reason why you have to tell your story for you, not for the people around you. When I initially started talking about my experiences when I was a little girl, truth be told, and I can't do nothing but tell my truth, and this is not to make anyone feel bad, but I know a hit dog gonna holler because they holler every time. And I think that they really miss the point of what I be trying to do for the people that support me. They miss the point. They always miss the point. When I initially started talking about my experiences, no one fucking cared. I swear to God. Everybody was like, damn, that's fucked up. But shit, anyway, like, that's true shit, though. Like, that's really true shit, and that hurt me. But it taught me a really valuable lesson that I want y'all to also retain. Everybody is not going to care. Like, everybody has been through things. People are not going to give a fuck, and that's okay. That's fine. Because you told your story, whether people believed you or not. That was another thing. A lot of people didn't even think that it was valid. What? You mean to tell me I mustered up the courage to tell you all this shit happened to me, and you tell me it didn't happen? Are you telling me, are you sure you don't want attention? Did that really happen? Excuse me? You mean to tell me I sat with myself days on end? Damn, should I talk about it? Should I say it? Fuck it, I'ma just say it. This is what happened to me. And you tell me, or you try to look me in my face and tell me that some shit like that didn't happen because you didn't catch it, or you didn't realize, or you didn't pay attention to what the fuck was going on. So instead of owning up and saying, damn, you know what, I'm sorry that happened to you, I wish I could have been there more for you, you simply tell them, girl, that did not. Or you tell other people. They may not even say it to you, but they tell other people, that shit did not happen. I ain't gonna lie, that shit didn't happen. I ain't know about it, so it didn't happen. Bitch ass nigga. I don't care. Like, people don't even pay close enough attention to the people around them. People are not even mindful or present enough to even realize what the fuck really be going on. But instead of owning up to that and saying, you know what, I feel guilty. This is what their response should have been. I feel guilty that I wasn't able to be there for you in those moments. But now that I know, I'm sorry that happened to you. How can I support you now? That's how it should have been said. But that's another thing, y'all. Don't let people project their feelings onto you. You get what I'm saying? And this is for anybody, any little girl or little boy that lives inside of you that was taken advantage of, and you came out and you spoke about it and no one believed you, or nobody felt like it was valid, or no one cared, or no one did anything. Does that make sense? Just because the people around you don't validate you doesn't mean that didn't happen to you. There are a lot of experiences where there was only me and whoever it was that was abusing me. Nobody else was there a lot of the time. Like, it wasn't like people don't abuse. Like, let me not say that. Excuse me. Let me take that back. I recant. Sometimes, like, a lot of the times, abuse is done in private because it's a shameful thing. Nigga, what the hell are you doing? Why is you doing all this weird, crazy shit to me? I'm a little girl. What are you doing? Nobody's about, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody in their right fucking mind is going to publicly or abuse you in front of an audience. Let's start there. No one is going to abuse you in front of an audience. So it's like, obviously you weren't there. Like, how, obviously you weren't there. But if I'm telling you this, I'm telling you something in confidence. I'm telling you something from my heart. I'm telling you an experience that happened to me. Why aren't you, more empathy. I think that's what it was. I wanted people to be more empathetic, or more, not sympathetic, but empathetic. I wanted people to understand why I was acting the way that I act, because everybody was always, oh, Leo, she's so to be around. She's so irritating. Like, she's such a Debbie Downer. She's so negative. She never want to go out with me. She never talks to us. That was another thing my family used to say all the time. She never talks to us. She don't talk to us. She's not as social. She's standoffish. Boom, there you go. She's standoffish. She always want to be by herself. You can't tell her nothing, because she only just want to be she want to be cooped up in that room. If I had $1, I'd be rich. For every time I heard, she want to be cooped up in that room. She just want to be cooped up in that room. Like, what? It was like, no, I don't want to be cooped up in my room. This is the reason why I feel the way that I feel. Does that make sense, y'all? It was just too many times I heard that. And I just wanted people to understand where I was coming from, because nobody understood me. I was grossly misunderstood. And people had this perception of me. You know, they had this perception of me and who I was, but they really didn't know me. Nobody around me knew me, because nobody knew what I had dealt with, or whatever experiences that I had been experiencing. No one really in depth, and no one still to this day fully knows me. There are people who my bad, y'all. I don't know why people do that. I don't know why people get on your live and say, look behind you, who's behind, while we're in the middle of talking about abuse. Why are y'all playing like that? Anyway, it was like, that shit was just irritating. People's calling me dramatic, exactly, saying I'm dramatic, or she's this, she's that. Like, nobody understood where I was coming from, and I hated being misunderstood. Because even, like, in whatever relationships I was in, whatever guy I was dating, I was always to myself. Like, ever since I was a little girl, since as early as I can remember, because my abuse for me, whenever it first started, I was 7. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was 7 years old, and from that point, I was always to myself. Anybody can tell you on this live who knows me personally, ever seen me in real life, ever met me in any space outside of Instagram, outside of social media, you know I'm to myself, period. When I was at school, I was standoffish. When I was at school, I was standoffish. When I would go to church, I was standoffish. When I was school, church, anywhere you see me at, I was standoffish. But it's because I had dealt with people in my life who didn't appreciate me, didn't value me, and didn't appreciate me, didn't value me, does that make sense? So it was just like, I had been let down. There you go. I had been let down, disappointed by a lot of people in my life. So I just wanted to be to myself, because I couldn't trust anyone around me to be delicate with me, be delicate with my feelings, or really take the time and sit down and be patient with me, and really just take the time to learn who I was through and through. Because if you understand my story, then you understand why I am the way that I am. And then when you understand people, and this is why I'm a lot more empathetic than what I used to be, because when you understand people, and when you understand like the world, you are a little more empathetic for people around you, because you realize everybody is coming from a place. But did I want his own my friends took advantage of me because I was at a low point? Encouraged me to tell my story, period. Period. Tell your story and don't let anybody you should definitely try going to therapy. I definitely let me say this. I've been to therapy. I've been to therapy multiple different times. I've seen multiple different therapists. I've seen multiple different therapists. It doesn't, excuse me. That ain't what I meant to say. I think you just have to find a therapist for you. Okay, let me say that. You have to find a therapist that is for you. You have to find a therapist that resonates with you. Because not every therapist... I'm going to go to my bathroom. Not every therapist is going to work for you, and that's okay. Don't feel... I've had these candles burning all day. Oh, it smells so good in here. Don't feel pressured. Therapy, depending upon try different therapists. That's what I'll say. Try different therapists. Like, I've tried young therapists, old therapists, white therapists, black therapists. And what I would say for me, I've always resonated, like, I've always clicked. Let me say that. I've always clicked with, I've always clicked with, black women. Because I've seen a black male before, but I feel like for me personally, black women, specifically one that was not too. Let me not say that. There was a specific therapist that I really clicked with, and she was a black woman. She was probably in her 40s, and she was really insightful. And I feel like it worked for me because she wasn't so much older than me to where she didn't understand my present, like the issues of the present, like social media and shit like that. But she wasn't too young. Like, she was still old enough to be insightful, if that makes any sense. So that's why she worked for me specifically. But like I said, to each his own. To each his own. You okay? Seemed like your attention was taken. Yeah, I started seeing, they were like these comments that I was seeing, and it like threw me off completely. I was on a good stride. We were going, I was talking, everything was good, and these comments. But I don't want to turn the comments off because I want to still be able to obviously interact with the people that are in here, that, and we're having a discussion. So I want to still be able to interact with y'all. But obviously what comes with leaving the comments open, people be saying crazy ass shit in the comments, and I be trying skip over it, and it's like, they just say weird shit. I don't understand. I don't get it. And I've been blocking people since I started this live. I done blocked like 10 people. No cap. No bullshit. 10 people. But yeah, y'all, shit is not all bad. Like, everything is not all bad, contrary to what it feels like. Grounded. Okay, yeah, let's lighten it up a little bit. How did you keep yourself grounded through the storm before your big break? Boom! That's actually a really good question. Wait, now that I took it away. That's actually a really fucking good question. That's a really good question. It's still light where you're at. No, it's not light here. That's a really good question. Me, personally, how I kept myself grounded before my big break. It was super easy. It was super easy. I'm not gonna lie. Let me not say it was super easy, but once I realized what was happening, I could appreciate my struggle. I was working at this job. It was a good job. I was working at a call center. I didn't have anywhere to stay, right? And I just feel like I always tell this story, but I have to keep I feel like a broken record. But then I always have to remind myself to keep telling the story because there's gonna be one new person on the live who has never heard that story and they might need to hear it. So bear with me, people who've already heard this story. This was last year. This year is 2022. Last year, 2021, before my big break, this is before I put out Beating On Your Block. I'm just gonna give y'all the timeline. Last year, 2021, January 2021, I'm not gonna cry. Last year, 2021, January, I had a suicide attempt. Obviously failed because I'm still here, still looking good, you know. But the reason why I felt like, I don't want to be here anymore, I was dealing with a lot of different things. I had just broken up with this guy. And it's another thing too, y'all. It's another thing too that I really don't be speaking on because I just hate, I really don't be speaking on it, but I have to remember why I even chose to speak on this shit from the jump. It's because it helps people. Whenever I speak on the situation, this guy this guy who's always watching from the background, always thinks that this is like some shit to defame him, even though nobody knows him. I've never said his name ever, period. I've never said his name because it's not about making him look like a bad person. It's about sharing my story and my experiences. And every time I speak on it, he get mad, angry, furious, mad. Him and everybody else attached to him, oh my God, they get angry. Oh, so mad. Why the fuck is she still speaking on this shit? Not even realizing that was a moment in time for me that kick-started my career. He's blocked. I'm not spoken to him in over a year. But I'm trying to think. Where was I at? You finna get a shower? You finna get a shower?
You better relocate.
Okay. Move, bang it. Y'all, babe, I'm telling a story.
What story?
A story. Stop, babe.
What's up? Let me tell you something.
Okay, y'all, I'm relocating because he's finna get in the shower.
Is y'all finishing the room?
No. What was I saying, y'all? I like the bathroom. The bathroom is well lit. It's okay, y'all. We gonna make it work in here. I'm gonna cut all the lights on in here. Let's see. Let's make it work. What was I saying? Let me cut the cabinet light off. Okay. Where was I at, y'all? Like, it's okay. So boom. Hey, nosy. Yes, this is exactly what it is. Just nosy. What the fuck was I saying? So, I hate this nigga. Such a weirdo. Yeah, right. So anyway, every time I tell a story, he always gets sick to his damn stomach, thinking I'll be trying to defame him, and it's not even fucking that. So fucking annoying, so irritating, nigga. It's like, damn, I don't even be saying your motherfucking name. Can I not speak on the shit that I experienced, nigga? What? You did it. Like, what the fuck is the problem? You did. If you didn't want the shit to be talked about, you shouldn't have damn did it. But that's just how I feel about this shit. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, because I'm not even really bitter towards the situation.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. That's the first one. Yeah, the first one. Y'all probably use the second one.
But yes, there's always, and we have 444 people in there. I know that's right. Look at God speaking through me, telling me to continue to tell my story. I know that's right. I'm gonna listen. So right, I didn't have anywhere to stay. I didn't have anywhere to stay. I was sleeping on people's couches, my friends' couches, family members' couches, my aunt's couch. I slept on her couch. I slept on my grandma's couch. I slept on my friend's couch, Kiwi's couch. I slept on my other friend's couch. Sleeping on people's couches. Shit, I didn't have nowhere to stay. That's true shit. I was working at this job. Where's your mom? She moved to Dallas. She moved to Dallas. So anyway, didn't have anywhere to stay, which is fine. Like, that's, you know, let me not say it's fine, but you know, and my dad, I didn't have a good relationship with my dad. Let me not say I didn't have a good relationship, but I just didn't have a strong relationship with my dad. To live with him. I'm sure if I would have called him, I probably could have like stayed with him, but it probably would have been the same situation, like me sleeping on his couch type shit. And it's just like, it was like a strained relationship with my parents, both of my parents. So that's why I didn't stay with my parents. And then, like, they were going through their own personal things, and that's not my story to tell. I can only tell my story, but I can't tell their story because unless it impacts my story. But yeah, that's their story, and I don't, you know, they probably don't feel comfortable. You know, I can't rush anybody to tell their story. But anyway, I didn't have a good relationship with my parents at the time, so I was not staying with them. And like I said, I was just sleeping couch to couch, right? And I was working at this job, and I was working 12 hours a day, every single day, 12 to 16 hours sometimes, every single day, every day. I was working those long ass hours. I would drive home either to my house or drive to a friend's house, and I'd sleep on the couch. And this was last year, by the way. This was 1 year ago. This is 1 year ago. Keep that in the back of your mind that this was 1 year ago. So, obviously, considering all of those things that were going on, and like I